Today I want to talk to you about living with new access to God. At the moment of Jesus' death, God did something game-changing. The curtain in the temple that separated the Holy of Holies was torn from top to bottom. Though this was an actual physical event, the real significance is what is symbolized. See, the Holy of Holies was off limits to the Hebrew people, and only the high priest could enter the Holy of Holies. And even then, there were strict protocols that had to be followed. The Holy of Holies was so special because it was the place where God dwelt in a tangible way. The Ark of the Covenant was housed in the Holy of Holies, and the covering of the Ark was called the mercy seat. However, hovering above the mercy seat was the glorious presence of the Lord. Entering into the Holy of Holies meant you were in the very presence of God. And even the high priest would enter backward rather than face the presence. The death of Jesus on the cross changed all of that. Instead of the imperfect sacrifices of animals to temporarily atone for sin, Jesus was the whole, perfect, and complete sacrifice offered once and for all. As such, he is our perfect high priest who has provided the perfect sacrifice, enabling us to have a continual access to God. There is no longer a curtain separating us from the presence of God, because through Jesus, we have gained full access. Hebrews 4:14 through 16 tells us this new access is life-changing. It says, "So then, since we have a great high priest who has entered heaven, Jesus, the Son of God, let us hold firmly to what we believe. This high priest of ours understands our weaknesses, for he has faced all of the same testings we do, yet he did not sin. So let us come boldly to the throne of our gracious God. There we will receive his mercy, and we will find grace to help us when we need it the most." We have access to God's mercy and God's grace. We can boldly, with confidence, approach God's throne, knowing there will be mercy and grace. We don't have to enter backwards like the high priest had to do. High priests in those days would tie a rope around their foot. And if the priest entered the presence of God and had not properly atoned for their sins, God would strike them dead. And the job of the priest on the other end of the rope was to drag them out. But we don't have to worry about that because we have new and different access to God. Paul says in Romans that we have been adopted into God's family. And John clarifies those who trust in Christ are children of God. Romans 1:12 says, "But to all who believed in him and accepted him, he gave the right to become children of God." These passages give us hope. We don't have to hide from God like Adam and Eve did after they sinned. Discovering access to the new mercies of God can give us a fresh new start to a new life all year long.